This week we will be reviewing Chapter 10, titled Developing Staff and Defining Responsibilities. This is a super short chapter, so if you are missing any assignments, you should have extra time this week to catch up on those. Our objectives for this chapter are to learn the responsibilities of the front and back of the house staff in implementing a nutrition program, and also to learn about the ADDIE model for developing training in support of a nutrition program. In the previous few chapters, we have determined how a food service operation should figure out what their nutrition program goals should be and what changes should be made to their menu to put the program in place. The next step would be to train staff to implement the program. All employees of the operation are responsible for meeting the goals in some way and should be held accountable for the role they need to play. Clearly defined roles and responsibilities will be essential in order for the nutrition program to be successful. The front of the house employees, such as the host, waitstaff, and employees taking the orders, are the first point of contact with the customer. They are the ones that interface with the customer and have a direct impact on the customer and the products being served. These employees have a responsibility to make sure that the delivery of the meal is successful. Waitstaff should be able to help customers with selections when they have a nutritional request. The front of the house employee must be trained to communicate special requests that will require more than a simple substitution. The manager should monitor these changes and carry them through the operation to the back of the house. The back of the house is responsible for preparing food to the customer's expectations. With implementing a nutrition program, the back of the house is responsible for receiving communications regarding special dietary requests and making sure the food is cooked correctly by checking recipes, substitution lists, measurements, and portion sizes. The back of the house needs to be sure there is no cross-contact with allergens for those who require allergen-free diets, and they need to be sure that no other types of ingredient mistakes occur, like adding butter to the food of someone who is attempting to lower cholesterol and saturated fat intake. It is the responsibility of the manager to ensure that employees are trained. Training is defined as activities that are designed to introduce new tasks and to assist employees in performing them. Training is a tool to improve skills, knowledge, or attitudes. Education differs from training in that education is more of a formal, long, and ongoing process. When incorporating training into an establishment, managers need to evaluate employees and identify their current skills and the new skills each employee will need. The difference between the two is the employee skill gap. When a manager is able to identify the skill gap, it'll be easier to design appropriate and more effective training activities. The ADDIE model is an instructional design model used for training development. It stands for Analyze, Design, Develop, Implement, and Evaluate. The first step is to analyze the goals of the nutrition program and then translate the goals into performance standards. A performance standard defines what task must be done and how the task should be completed. So basically, we need to know what we want our final outcome to be. From there, the next step is to figure out what the needs are or what has to be done in order to achieve the goal. And lastly, what are the current capabilities? We need to know what our starting point is. And are we starting out at rock bottom and need to do a full-scale training? Are we pretty close to meeting our goal and just need to do small trainings, or are we somewhere in the middle? The next stage is design. This focuses on the organization and layout of the training program. After we have figured out what our current capabilities are and what we need, we can outline a way to deliver the training. It is important to establish the order that training activities are completed and to determine who should be trained. The design of the training program should include prioritizing the training needs, establishing which employees should be trained, developing a timeline for the training, identifying which training tools will be used, and identifying the delivery methods that will be used. The chart here explains some different types of training methods that might be used depending on what is needed. Next is to develop training tools and standard operating procedures for training. Training tools are materials developed to effectively communicate training information to staff. These can include diagrams, summarized information, step-by-step checklists, and videos. The development stage usually requires the investment of time and money with purchasing training tools. The trainer may want to develop job aids that are specific to their operation that employees can use once the training is complete. When a manager is implementing a program, the design must be reviewed and then determine the training sessions before rolling out a program. There might be a need for multiple training sessions to incorporate different shifts and multiple groups. All employees who will impact the operation need to be involved. Information about the training, such as where, when, and why, need to be communicated in advance so that employees can come prepared and ready to learn. The trainer and manager should maintain a list of employees who attend each session. The last step is evaluate. The manager should check that employees have learned the information that was taught in the training. This might be a formal evaluation tool like a written quiz or test, or they might be evaluated on the job. The trainer should keep record in each employee's file that the training was attended and have a running list of all the training sessions that the employee has attended. The training should be further developed based on feedback to the trainer. Feedback is information received in response to an inquiry, and the trainer will revise the materials and train the next group of employees until everyone has completed the training. And that is all for our Chapter 10 lecture. Please review the summary slides 9 through 13. After reading Chapter 10, please complete the Chapter 10 quiz and have a great week.